This is the micro-homily for the 28th of February. Please read the readings before listening to the homily. We might be shocked when we read that Abraham was ready to sacrifice his son, but that's only because one of the biases that we live with as people who have a human mind is that we imagine that the way we're used to is the way it's always been and the way it is everywhere. Not the case in Abraham's time. It was nothing unusual to take part in human sacrifice. The unusual thing was that it was stopped. Abraham's encounter with God is a moment when Abraham is made the father in faith to the three great religions of the world, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And the descendants of Abraham in faith are those who have preached what Abraham learned, that God might welcome our devotion, welcome our desire to give God beautiful things, but God insistently does not want human sacrifice. For Abraham, it becomes a substitution, the ram in place of his son. And for the people of Israel, as the centuries unfolded, they took part in animal sacrifice, while people in countries around took part in human sacrifice. On that mountain where Jesus took his three chosen witnesses, Moses and Ezekiel represented the law and the prophets, the law of Moses by which the rule of animals, not humans, was codified. Ezekiel representing the prophets who again and again called people back to doing the things the way God wants, not doing things the way they imagine God wants. And in this momentary glimpse of Jesus' glory, the three witnesses are prepared, strengthened, to ride out the 3 days between the death of Jesus and his resurrection. Jesus' death on Calvary, that second reading reminds us, is the sacrifice that takes away the sins of the world. No longer is there a need for animal sacrifices. If we look over that course of history of God's growing relationship with the human race between Abraham and Jesus, the big picture seems to be like this, that God says, I don't want you to sacrifice your children. If you've got to sacrifice anyone, sacrifice my only son. There's a sign of God's love. The first reading said, all the nations of the earth will bless themselves by Abraham, and how true that is. Again and again, it was Christian missionaries who brought an end to human sacrifice in the places they preached the gospel. The history of human sacrifice isn't just some Stone Age thing. There are accounts going right up to the 19th century of newly evangelized people putting aside their practice of human sacrifice. Imagine, if you dare to, the joy that it brings to a people when now they have accepted that the sacrifice they need has been done for them by Jesus, and they no longer need to fear a religious leader stopping at their door to tell them, tomorrow it's your child.